So this is, do we need to do anything with the camera?
No!
No, I didn't know if I need to push a button. Okay.
It's been recorded.
Moving on.
With mom talking
This
about
would be John, JJ, and Aaron, who watched Lost.
I'm
Who gave up?
You're trying to take a picture.
I said I can't believe we got everyone smile.
Yeah, you all blinked. Sorry.
And say initiative. And they're going to talk about how we feel about Lost a year later.
Are we still bitter about our...
Are we still bitter? Do we love it? Or do we not? Just,
Okay.
JJ can't break your heart anymore.
You were the most vicious about it last year.
Yeah, well, actually, let's go around. Who's rewatched Lost since it's ended? Or, well, some of it. At least.
First, let's say any of it.
Okay.
Now, who's watched the whole thing?
Wow. All right. So, just to start off, I am not qualified to be up here at all. There we go. We'll start with that. The only reason why I'm here is Lee likes to see me angry, and that's about it. All right. Moving on.
Well, you did have to ask me, didn't I? Who's that guy with the glasses, the beady eyes? Oh, Ben. Yeah, that's it. Ben Lang. Okay.
I literally spent about an hour trying to remember who it was. See, that's how unqualified I am to be up here.
I've started rewatching it recently. I'm gonna pick this up because it's really far away.
I know, it's really...
Turn back up, see?
Yeah, well that would be helpful. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I started watching it recently, and I'm surprised with how rewatchable it is. You'd think with a kind of drama with so many twists, it's like when you watch The Matrix for the second time. It's like you know what's coming, so it's not as fun. But there's so many little things in it, and it's really about character development more than anything else. I mean, not so much of it is actually about the twists and the turns. It is more about how much you can hate Kate. How much Jack can annoy you. From his what's wrong with you? Why are you making a sandwich like that? You should make it like this. And how much Sawyer is sexy. God, he's sexy.
Oh, yes, he is.
But yeah, I was shocked. But also as well, I found there's a significant dip in quality after maybe about season 3.
Who concurs? Raise your hand.
Okay, well that's good. I got
Who doesn't concur? Keep your hand down.
Yeah, but would you say it's a complete dip in quality or a dip for a season?
No, I'd say in general they start to struggle with it a little bit. It's kind of like they had more fun messing with our heads than they did with making us feel better about it. And also, I mean, I do know at that point that's when they had to stretch things out a little bit because, they got the extension of the series.
But I would say there's a certain point, like maybe around... Go closer?
Pick it up.
Okay, sorry. I'm used to just talking loud, sorry. I would say there's a certain point, probably around maybe 4.5, where it may not have, nothing was going to be as interesting as that first season. I mean, that's the thing about, whenever we find anything new and shiny, that first season is always going to be amazing. That's, the first Matrix, that's why the first Matrix is amazing. But
when you look back at it, there's not an awful lot that happens in the first season.
Well, no, they find a hole in the ground, that's it.
Yeah.
And they blew up a science teacher, thank God.
Boone dies. Yay.
But it took me, I watched I watched that first season 3 times, and it wasn't until the 3rd time that I realized that Boone was an okay character. I hated Boone the first 2 times.
Yeah, but I did think his kind of, I'm in love with my half-sister thing, or my stepsister thing was a little bit pathetic.
Yeah.
Although she was a character who I surprisingly liked more and more as it went along.
You're alone.
Okay. No brownie points because she was in Taken? No?
Yeah, and she got kidnapped. That's about all she's good for.
Seems to be coming through.
Yeah.
But no, I think, another surprising thing too was that the smoke monster turns up in the first episode. Which, when you think about it, looking back, I always thought it was further in before they really got into that sort of stuff.
Keep them going. I'm having my own conference.
Yeah, I was thinking,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, it's surprising. But did anyone else first think it was a dinosaur? Yeah? Okay. Does anyone else now wish it still was a dinosaur? Yeah, fair enough.
Terra Nova is coming this season.
Yeah. But I think because it is a bit of a character show, and we could be whining all day about the ending of it, and it is a year later, so we should move on, I think, a little bit. Let's talk about the characters a little bit. So, John, who was your favourite character on the show?
I can't remember his name. He had glasses, a beanie.
I think he was named after a Wizard of Oz.
Actually, I was learning how to talk when I learned to rhyme Locke.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, Locke is my favorite. For a number of reasons. Just because, especially obviously at the beginning, not the end. He was a true believer, and I kind of he from the get-go was right there on board with everything, and kind of for me brought the was the only one that acknowledged that strange crap is going on.
Yeah.
He was the only one who's like, hello.
But funny enough, while he was the only one acknowledging it, he was kind of the only one okay with it too at the start. He was like, yeah, this is strange crap. This is no big deal.
I'd also say that he is the
That's why I
character.
liked him.
Yeah, but he's also the character that is, if you rewatch it, he is the character that is most, I would say, is most changed in rewatching it, because you know his ending is sad, and so every time you watch one of his like backstory, and it just gets sadder and sadder and sadder. And so this character that you start watching the show, you think is a hero. By the time you go back and you rewatch it, you're like, he had 5 minutes of glory tops. It's like he went for a walk, and then everything else was bad.
Well, now that you put it that way, I changed my mind.
Okay.
But I mean, if it was a story just about Locke, I don't think we could watch it for 6 seasons, because God, it is depressing.
Oh yeah.
It was like his dad screwed him over, his mom screwed him over, the island screwed him over.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Kate was the only person who did it. And,
He even failed.
She was doing that to everyone.
Yeah.
Oh.
He even failed at suicide. I mean,
Yeah.
you had to have somebody else help him do that. I mean, he never got anything right.
But did anyone else feel a little bit annoyed about the fact that the guy who was all about faith the whole way through it and trusting and everything, in his final moments just didn't believe and just lost that faith?
Well, and strangely enough, Jack at the end did believe.
Yes. Well, even still, I mean, it's not so much that he believed, it's just kind of there's like going along with it.
Right.
There really was nothing about Jack by the end of that season that I could really find any kind of goodness in. It was like he was angry about being on the island. He was angry when he got off the island. He was angry when he got back on the island. I think he was just happy when he died. He's like, oh God, I can stop moaning now. But yeah, no, and it's weird to have I mean, would you say he was the main character of the show? I mean, that's kind of how they pushed him it was all about. It began with him, it ended with him. But he didn't do the majority of the cool stuff on the island. If you think of all the really cool moments, it didn't revolve around him. It's like the hatch stuff was all about Locke.
Right.
All the numbers was really Hurley's thing. Charlie just ruled. Everything. It's hard to pinpoint anything that was really that was a cool moment. Apart from maybe when he jumped mid ad break and then landed about 10 feet further on afterwards to punch the smoke monster in the last episode. But who would be your favorite?
You asked me that question a long time ago, and I think I said Ben Lydas, because I was intrigued up into the end of the fact they never really cleared him up. But now that I'm rewatching it again, I would have to say I'm enjoying watching Saeed go from a mopey little pessimist to, by the time it ends, he's a superhero, and the only way he can stop doing anything is if you blow up a bomb in his chest. And I'm pretty sure he still swam to shore. So he's kind of fun to watch once he dumps Shannon. And it's also, I would say, I'm enjoying watching Charlie again too.
Oh yes.
I mean, but it's impossible to hate Hurley. I mean, it really is.
But I know my friend Brian, who we mutually know, he got really, really annoyed. Now, he's the same size as Hurley. And he got really frustrated when they did the whole thing of his dad left him and gave him a candy bar. That's why he got fat. It was a little bit of a kind of a ham-fisted explanation of why he's a big guy. I don't think you really need to explain why a guy eats a lot.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
No. Yeah, America. Make damn good candy bars. But yeah, no, that was kind of frustrating. But well, let's poll the room a little bit. So we'll go through a few characters. Hands up if you're your favorite character. Don't choose more than one. I know, right? But that's the thing. There are so many good ones. Desmond.
Yeah.
Nice. I would say he's my favorite too. Especially the thing between him and Penny, which I'll go into in a minute because I might cry if I talk about it now. Okay, so Charlie. You got one. A couple down the back as well. Alright. Jack.
Oh, you, sir, are alone. I think it's a sir.
Yeah.
It might be a lady, it might explain it all.
I think that was a muscle spasm. I don't think you.
Wow.
Who likes bus drivers? No? Okay.
It's okay. I can handle it if Jack gets one more than. Whose favorite character was Kate?
Oh! Stand up! Please stand up.
Need to know who you are.
Okay, now.
Why?
Oh, wait, were you talking about the lady to your right there, or about Kate, sir?
Choose your words carefully.
It's his baby, I promise.
Okay. Well, could you explain in a short sentence or so why you liked her so much?
He kicks ass. I mean, I felt like she was a great shooter, and I appreciate that.
Okay, but in that same sense, did Juliet not fulfill the same sort of badass woman role model?
Juliet was a liar, and she found my nerves.
Okay. We can go into that a little bit. Thank you. Juliet is a character I really, really liked, and I liked that they left her with Sawyer, because Lord knows no one should be left with Kate. But I really, actually, it was one of the things in the last season that I was really kind of on tenterhooks about, because I couldn't have cared less if they told me who the smoke monster was. As long as Sawyer didn't go back to Kate and leave Juliet in the final season,
But I'm
I
still
would have been really
convinced.
upset.
But see, I'm still convinced after watching the finale of the show that Claire and Kate are settling down and raising Aaron and a cute little lesbian couple. they get a nice plot of land in New Hampshire, and they raise that kid right.
The thing is, Claire was a character that I really was attracted to in the first season. Not just because she was a cute Australian, but also the fact that she seemed like one of the few ordinary people on the show. Everybody had like a real kind of over-the-top personality, but she was quite a simple girl. There wasn't a hell of a lot to her. She wasn't a stereotype in any way, I would have said. She wasn't like the valley girl like Shannon was, and she wasn't, the troubled young lady like Kate and etc. She just seemed like a normal girl, which was nice to see. But by the end of it, was it wrong that I was more attracted to her because she went crazy?
No, actually, knowing you is probably exactly right in line with it.
As long as you didn't want to run your fingers through her hair.
Somebody did give her a comb by the end of that thing. But yeah, it's like now you're more like every girl I've ever dated. That's fantastic. But okay, we'll go back to our character list. Whose favorite was Saeed? Okay, only a couple. That's interesting. I'm fascinated. Who really didn't like Saeed? Could you tell us why you didn't like him?
He just got really annoying. He's a flip-flopper, like the whole series of time.
I can understand what you say. He did kind of go back and forth, especially towards the end when he was infected.
Yeah.
Which,
That was such a waste of character.
yeah, not only was it weird, it made very little sense, and I know they were trying to explain away Russo's whole "they got sick" thing, but I think they could have just left that as Russo was crazy, yo.
It was true the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think you really had to explain that one.
Rousseau was the smoke monster. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been
Oh, this is a
amazing.
much better ending. Keep going.
Yeah. She just went around like shooting people from the trees.
Exactly. And she was also a shapeshifter who was the polar bear.
Yeah.